Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. This is Haley from Top 5 Choices, and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I'm gonna do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best Lenovo laptops under $3,000, 2022. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use it for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. The biggest shortcomings of the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook come in its design. The magnetized kickstand cover and keyboard felt firmly secured to the tablet as we tested it, but we still found ourselves pulling the keyboard free without meaning to or pushing the entire back cover off while trying to extend the kickstand. These aren't earth-shattering failures, and fixing it is as simple as slapping the cover or keyboard back on, but it happened often enough that we can see some people getting frustrated with it. Unfortunately, the biggest problem with the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebook will be a deal-breaker for some people: the restrictive size of its keyboard and, to a lesser extent, the responsiveness of the trackpad. By laptop trackpad's already low standards, the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet Chromebooks can be sluggish and even lifeless at times. As for the keyboard, the keys are packed in very tight, given the limited real estate it is working with. On paper, the performance of the Lenovo Duet Chromebook lags behind its bigger and more expensive cousins, but nobody is out here trying to play Metro Exodus on a 2-in-1 Chromebook. When it comes to general web browsing, video streaming, and basic productivity use, the Duet does exactly what you want it to do without so much as a hiccup. You can't load up on Chrome tabs with reckless abandon, but you can still have a handful going at once and not grind everything to a halt. The Lenovo IdeaPad Duet even manages to put out a very respectable performance when it comes to light to moderate mobile gaming. This isn't a gaming laptop by any means, but if you can play it on your phone or dedicated tablet, you can play it just as well on the Duet. We absolutely can't talk about performance without bringing up the Lenovo IdeaPad Duet's battery life. Our Tech Radar movie test looped an HD film at half brightness and half volume until the Duet died. Similar devices typically shut off after 8 to 12 hours, with around 10 hours being the average battery life of a typical Chromebook. The Duet blew way past that mark, completely lapping the Chromebook average with a total time of 21 hours and 29 minutes. This just isn't the kind of battery performance you ever see in the wild. The Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Titanium Yoga is Lenovo's thinnest ThinkPad yet, coming in at just 0.45 inches, 11.85 millimeters, thick, which is 0.10 in/13.87 millimeters less than the X1 Nano. The titanium carbon magnesium chassis helps keep things light, though it does lack the feel of an aluminum alloy build and can feel almost like plastic to the touch. The underside has some venting for airflow, but not much. Fortunately, the X1 Titanium Yoga doesn't get too hot under strain and the heat vents out the back, but given its thinness, there isn't much in the way of real cooling here. The screen bezels aren't the slimmest we've ever seen, and there is a decent amount of chin on the display, as well as a thicker top bezel to accommodate the webcam. Speaking of the webcam, there is a physical privacy shutter that blocks the camera when it's not in use, which should be a standard feature on every webcam at this point, but sadly still isn't the case. The 13.5-inch display itself is just gorgeous with a crisp 2256x1504p, 3:2 resolution and up to 450 nits of brightness. The anti-smudge display does a decent enough job keeping fingerprints off it, and it is very responsive to the Lenovo Precision Pen, so note-taking and annotating is a breeze. The top firing speakers are surprisingly robust given the space Lenovo is working with here. Remote meetings sounded great, and the audio during our HD video battery test was excellent and can easily fill a medium-sized room. We really like Lenovo keyboards, so we're a bit disappointed in this one. The key travel is pretty shallow, and while we don't feel like it inhibits us while typing, it takes some getting used to, for sure. The X1 Titanium Yoga also has the same keyboard quirk as the X1 Nano in that its function key is the farthest left key on the bottom row, which is normally the control key. The ThinkPad X1 Nano looks similar to all of its predecessors, with a sleek carbon fiber and magnesium chassis. Unlike the others, though, this ThinkPad has a much lighter chassis, weighing only 2 pounds. The interior is compact, with the touchpad at the bottom accompanied with discrete buttons for the pointing stick, a fingerprint reader to the right, a nearly edge-to-edge keyboard above and two speaker vents closing in on the corners. The bezels on the display are relatively thin, apart from the top, which is thicker thanks to the webcam. The X1 Nano's 13.0-inch, 2K, 2160x 1350 pixel, anti-glare display is gorgeous. While watching the trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, the wide shot of the city was vibrant with different hints of colors from the luminescent signs that contrasted well with the eerie fog in the background. Even in the close-up of Diana's face, the tone of her cheeks, the lipstick on her lips, and the furrow in the brow were all sharp, crisp, and full of color. According to our colorimeter gamut, the X1 Nano produced 101.1% of the sRGB spectrum, which is slightly better than the Dell XPS 13, 97.9%, but did not do as well as the Apple MacBook Pro M1, 110.6%. Our test also determined that the X1 Nano produces 430 nits of brightness, which falls slightly behind the Dell XPS 13, 469 nits. The Apple MacBook Pro M1, 435 nits, is similarly bright. Typing is very enjoyable on the X1 Nano, as the keys are very punchy. When testing out the keyboard on 10 fast fingers typing test, I was able to type 49 words per minute, which isn't too far off from my 53 WPM average, and I think it's the best I've done in a long time. Though the dimensions of the keyboard are a lot smaller than I'm used to, I think the spacing of the keys and the size of the keys really help with the comfortability of typing. The Lenovo Legion 5 Pro is a solidly built gaming laptop that doesn't really take any risks with its overall design. The look is your standard gaming laptop aesthetic, with the lid of the laptop looking like the hood of a sports car with an RGB Legion logo in the center. On the flip side, literally, the air intake isn't as expansive as on Gigabyte Aorus gaming laptops, for instance, and with the RTX 3070 running full steam, expect that this laptop is going to run hot under strain. Speaking of form factor, the Legion 5 Pro isn't exactly thin. Weighing in at 5.4 pounds / 2.54 kilograms and 1.1 inches / 26.85 millimeters thick, it's not going to be the most portable gaming laptop you're going to find, especially with its rather large power adapter. The larger form factor does leave room for a full-sized keyboard though, which is definitely a plus. That does lead to the keys being somewhat cramped, but it's not so much that we would take points off for it. The keys also have good travel, and overall the keyboard and trackpad are the kind of quality you normally get in a Lenovo laptop, which are generally excellent. So normally we take issue with downward firing speakers, but in the case of the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, the chassis is thick enough that they aren't downward firing as much as they are sideways firing, which definitely helps the audio quality. When it comes to gaming performance, the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro is about as good as you're going to find in an RTX 3070 gaming laptop. Even without any hardware performance optimization courtesy of Lenovo Vantage, the Legion 5 Pro outperforms the Asus Zephyrus in terms of pure gaming performance, both in graphics benchmarks and actual gaming experience. The Lenovo Yoga 9i is a very sleek and lustrous 2-in-1, but Lenovo offers an even more attractive model than our silver review unit. The Shadow Black Edition offers a dark metal chassis, hence the name, with the option of adding a leather case. However, the Yoga 9i that we reviewed features a mica aluminum chassis, and the differences between it and the Shadow Black model are not insignificant. The Shadow Black's glass palm rest covers the entire keyboard deck, and packs an embedded fingerprint sensor and a haptic touchpad. Going back to the model we tested, its lid bears a chrome Yoga logo, which shines in the light to show off brand. Just as I was about to open the laptop, I was met with another logo etched ever so slightly on the edge of the lid, reading Yoga 9 Series, a neat little touch. The interior of the laptop keeps with the same sleek design as the outside, with some noticeable differences of course. The bezels to the sides of the glass touchscreen are both very thin, while the bezel on top expands in the middle to give more room for the webcam, and the bottom bezel sits as the largest. Below the screen, on the hinge, is the soundbar, which rotates with the screen. The keyboard itself is a decent size, with thin keys, and located below is the touchpad. The Yoga 9i is pretty thin, at just 12.6 by 8.5 by 0.6 inches, and weighing 3 pounds. It is thinner than the 13.5-inch HP Spectre X360 14, 11.8 by 8.7 by 0.7 inches, 3 pounds, and about as thin as the 13.4-inch Dell XPS 13 2-in-1, 11.7 by 8.2 by 0.6 inches, 2.9 pounds, and the 13.3-inch MacBook Air with M1, 12 by 8.4 by 0.6 inches, 2.8 pounds.